at her. I love the curls. The curls are popping today.
Yes. They're doing their thing today. This is my been at work, no sleep look. But I finally got a nap after 2 weeks. I'm excited.
Oh, wow. Well, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in with us. You're beautiful.
Thank you. So are you.
Yes, thank you. So Dr. Daphne says you have an interesting story. Want to share it?
Oh my goodness. I mean, I've been on Blab for quite a while. I've met lots and lots of people. Okay. Where to start? I mean,
your work is interesting. Because
start with work. Let's work from yesterday and work our way back. No, I just launched yesterday. I launched Stream Life, which is everyone's Stream Life together in one place, every platform. So basically, what we've done is I've created a way for every streamer to make income, gain influence, and make an impact. More importantly, so we want people to identify their cause, what's at the core of their heart. Identify their cause, gain influence, and then create income from their live stream. So whether they're streaming on YouTube, Blab, and here, instead of sending your followers every which way, we've created a platform where you can have your entire stream life on one page, as well as our complimentary products to help you create your income for your streams. So not only that, but we put you with sponsors and things like that. So we're giving the sponsors a very easy way to find stream stars. And then we're also providing the streamers with a way to have income. So that's what Stream Life is. And then we also have the Stream Life Live side of it, which is where we are throwing high-end quality user meets where every platform is represented. There's been a lot of Perry Cruise, Perry Summit, all these things. But the platforms are so much more versed than that. I mean, and every day there's a new one. Even yesterday we had all these new startups hitting us up like, hey, we're here too. We're in the streaming industry too. And I was like, I've never even heard of these companies. And they're hitting us up. And I'm like, this was I got this vision. God gave me this vision in June before I ever even started streaming. I was like, what is this? What is this about? So I got on Periscope, and I had been on Blab and Periscope. I started like April, May, but I didn't like it. So then I ended up, through another interesting work story we'll get to, I ended up having the opportunity to have a show on a network. And I was like, why would they want me to have a show? Like, I am not comfortable in front of the camera. So I actually started streaming to get used to being on camera. That storyline there, getting us into how I ended up streaming all the time. I started streaming. I did not like Periscope, but it was what everybody was doing because I don't like one-way conversation. Right. So I felt like I was constantly, talking at people and not to people. And then I ended up remembering, like, what was that site that I saw, I had been on before, because I joined Fire Talk and nobody was on Fire Talk. It was just like a one-way thing. Nobody's there. And then I came over here again, trying it again. And this time it was different because when I first came to Blab, it was all, tech heads. And I'm not I own a tech company. I'm not a tech girl. I was like, what are they talking about? Like algorithms and this and UI. And I have no clue. I'm like, I'm bored. I'm leaving. So I left and I kept looking for some place. So then when I came back on here, I started doing my cooking show on here. And it was met with a lot of, positive vibe. A lot of people were like, oh my gosh, this is what we need. You're a great content creator. And that's what the feedback I was getting from other people was like, you're a content creator. And I was like, okay. And even that, the show opportunity that I had with one of the food networks was an idea I had sent to them. I had this idea for a show where, people were sharing family recipes and then sitting around the table, praying over their food and bringing that back to the forefront of, just having that family dinner, sit down time, whether it's friends and family or whatever. They're like, we love the idea. We want to put you on air. So when the call came, I was like, okay, I don't know, so, and then that came from the fact that I own a bakery that's very well known. We were the bakery of the Super Bowl 49. I'll be at Super Bowl this year, but we're not the official bakery this year. And then we're already scheduled for Houston next year. So, and that was all God-given thing too, as far as that one goes. It's, I'm a girl who couldn't bake 5 years ago. I couldn't make a box cake right. I was in PR and marketing. And while I was doing PR marketing, I was busy being a celebrity assistant to somebody. And so I needed an assistant to help me run my company. And that gave her too much access. She cleared me out of everything. Like literally I came home from being on a business trip. And when I came home, my entire apartment was cleaned out. Everything except for my bed. Like everything but my bed and some of my clothes and shoes. She cleared out even the food in the cupboard. All she left me with was like basics, like, salt and sugar and things like that. I mean, but like as far as like what was in there. So I came home and I just, I was like, what in the world have I been robbed? I'm trying to figure this out. And at the same time, as I'm going through this, like I haven't put my purse down right, I get a knock on the door. And as I get the knock on the door, it is my apartment is giving me an eviction notice. And right behind the eviction notice process server was a guy coming to get my car because none of the payments had been made. She had access to cut the checks. So what the young lady was doing was she was typing the checks out, which I thought was weird, but I never put two and two together until after. She asked for a typewriter and she was typing the checks out. And so when I saw them, I just signed them. And what she was doing was, I would see it made out to so-and-so car payment, it's made out to this rent and this, and this. So then she'd go back with autocorrect tape and change the name. So it had my signature on it and it was a valid check. But that's how she was able to clear out everything. And because she got my mail, she handled everything because I was handling everything for the pastors and the celebrities that I was working with. I trusted her with that. And then so she was just taking money. And basically, long story short, she cleared me out. I cried out to God that night, that supplication prayer. I said, how could you let this happen to me? I tithe, I do what I'm supposed to do. You gave me this business because backing up even further, September 23rd, 2009, I was working an office job and God said, clear your desk and go do ministry full time. I said, but God, ministry doesn't pay. What am I supposed to do? And that's where he had me start the PR marketing company. And because of who my pastor was, I had instant celebrity clients, instant, access and things like that. And the business did extremely well. But then I was also running the church full time. We had two locations at the time and opening a third. So I'm going back and forth from Phoenix to Atlanta into San Diego, trying to open and travel with them and do everything else. Meanwhile, this young lady is, clearing me out, like literally clearing me out. So that night, October 10th, that's all happened October 10th, 2011. That night I cried out to God and I said, how could you let this happen to me? He took me to 2 Kings, the lady who's going to lay down and die, but decided to make me a cake first. And I said, what's that got to do with me, God? I don't bake. I don't bake. It ain't going to do with me. What you want me to do? And I had heard, go in the kitchen and start with what you have. And so I looked in the kitchen, I saw what I had, and I was able to, I had some flour, a little bit of sugar, some butter in the freezer, and some apples and stuff like that. And I could never bake, but I could always cook. I was always an amazing cook. I could never bake. So then I was like, well, what can I do with this? And I literally hear pie pops. I'm like, what is a pie pop? And this is before anyone was doing pie in a stick. I said, this is 2011. And it wasn't until 2013 people started doing the mini pies and stuff like that. And so I'm like, what is a pie pop? So I hear it. I'm obedient. I start mixing up the pie filling, which I got that part down because, again, I can cook. I'm like, I got the filling, but what about crust? So I make a Paula Deen crust, a Martha Stewart crust, and my own crust. And I let everybody taste it, and they're like, number three. Number 3 is mine. I was like, oh, really? Oh, okay. And then I went in. I was like, okay, guys. So now what? I made the pie. Now what do you want? And then he takes me to Psalms, or he tells me, he's like, I want you to start a company. This is. I said, I have a company. I'm doing well. He's like, I don't want you to do that anymore. And again, God always knows further than what you're doing. So I'm like, okay. So I listened, and I'm like, what do you want me to say? Start this company. I said, okay, what do you want me to call it, God? It's your company, just like the other one. Your company. What you want me to do? He said, he takes me to Psalms 38:8, and I read, oh, it's good. I'm like, what's that got to do with anything? And he said, read it again. I say, oh, taste and see. And as soon as I can even get to the next part, he says, treats. And just like that, oh, taste and see, treats was born. The next day, I invited people over. Actually, the next day I had to humble myself after being, very successful at what I was doing. Had to go to my local office because I had nothing. The girl cleaned me out of everything. Got a $200 food stamp card, went to the store, bought buttermilk, egg, sugar, all the things it is to bake. Made my mom's German chocolate cake and a few other ones. And everybody tasted it. My mom said, this is better than mine. I was like, really? Because it was like a running joke in my family because my grandmother was the queen of cakes. I mean, everybody called her the cake lady. And they'd be like, well, you just didn't get that, Gene. And I didn't get it because like my first scratch cake, I will never forget it, was like a paperweight. It was so dense and so heavy. And so and then like when I said I couldn't even make a box cake right, like my box cakes even came out bad. Like I don't even know how that works. So it was like a running joke in my family that I was an amazing cook, but everybody else could bake, but I couldn't. And then when I got that anointing on it, it was like everybody was like, oh wow, this is better than ours. This is better. And then that was the 11th of, so basically the business was born October 11th, 2011. October 13th, I did my first church event where we were just selling things. We ended up with a line at our table. We sold out of everything in less than an hour. After a lot of skeptical people going, you think you can cook, you think you can bake, and then all the church mothers were like, ooh, it's good. You know, so that turned into everybody, go over there and go try her stuff, go over there and try her stuff. So that was day 2. By the end of the week on day 5, we had gotten a contract, by day 7, we had gotten a contract for 5 restaurants to do that, to be in 5 restaurants. But within 2 years to the day, and we moved to a commercial kitchen after 2 weeks. We moved into a commercial kitchen after 2 weeks. Within 2 years of commercial kitchen, we moved into our own retail store. And then, you know, at year 3, we ended up being the official bakery of the Super Bowl, which was freaking amazing. Like for a girl who couldn't bake and in such a short time. And then from doing the Super Bowl, we got invited to the Oscars. And this is all, you know, this past, you know, less than a year ago. And we got invited to the Oscars, and it led to this and this and this. And then tragedy struck because I ended up in the same position I was in with the PR marketing company. But this time it came from inside. My fiance, who decided to become my business partner, started clearing me out. And I was so busy and so excited with the you know, Super Bowl and this and this. And like by the time April came, by the time March, not even March, it was not even really March, probably like the end of February, March, all of those funds we made from the Super Bowl and all these major parties we did because we had Pro Bowl. We did 22 parties in 10 days just for Pro Bowl, Super Bowl. So all of that money sitting in the bank, all of the, you know, money from the Oscars and everything in between, and all of the accolades that were coming, all that kind of stuff. I went to cut payroll where it's a normal day. I wasn't thinking anything about it. And one of my girls comes in crying. She goes, my check bounced. I said, what? It's like, yeah, my check bounced. I said, well, that's not possible. So I called my then fiance and I said, what's going on with the money? Because we actually hired an accountant, so this would never happen ever again. He's like, oh, well, let me check with Donna, who was our accountant at the time. He's like, I'm not sure. So basically, I don't know if he was living a double life or what was going on, or he just thought the money was going to keep flowing, but he was cutting all of these checks to himself. So there I was finding myself back into the same situation. I've got rent due on my retail shop. I've got this and this, and I hear clearly, shut it down. And I'm like, shut it down. And God's like, shut it, just trust me on this, shut it down. I don't know what God's going to do at this point. We're March of 2015. And I'm hearing shut it. I'm like, God, I can't shut it down. I have contracts. I've got wedding things. I've got this. He's like, shut it down. So April 1st, I tried to make it work. I tried to stretch it out. April 1st, we were in the middle of, we had like a 600 cookie order, and we should have been making cookies. And God was like, I told you to shut this down. And just at that point, I was obedient. I said, the girls were like, so how you want us to get started? I said, you know what? Pack it up. They're like, what? I said, pack the whole place up. The cookies will wait. We'll get those done. Pack it up. We packed up. We moved out of the retail store. We went to the commercial kitchen because we always had a commercial kitchen and for the catering. And we packed up the retail store, put a clothesline up. What that allowed me to do, by closing that, allowed me to dissolve that portion of the company, which got him out of my company. And this is what I didn't know at the time. This is God telling me, close this up, do it. So I'm like, okay. So then come to find out, he and the accountant had something going on behind my back. Because I'm so busy, I wasn't thinking nothing of it. You know, I'm like, how is this even possible? Like, he works in California. We're all here. Like, how y'all have something going on? And I'm like, what in the world? My best friend said the most clarity thing to me. She said, you know, Yvette, the problem with all this is God started this, you and him. You never asked him about a business partner. You never asked him to bring this man in. And I said, you know, that's the truth. He's like, because look at your business. Everything was amazing and skyrocketing until you let him in as your partner. And it all went downhill. And now here you are again. And I was like, you know what? You're right. But anyway, just learning about the corporate process, once I was able to close and dissolve and restart, it got him out because he wouldn't sign his percentage off. He was like, no, I'm keeping my percentage because everything you make, I'm getting 30% of it, and then he had like a stank attitude over it. He's like, every Super Bowl, every major event, I'm going to be there because I'm going to get the access because I'm a business partner. And I was like, what? And I had no recourse. I couldn't even go after him for clearing out the bank accounts because he was a business partner. He was on the bank account. There was nothing I could do. So when I heard to shut it down, it put me in the situation where I was like, you know what? What do I do now? And I heard shut it down, dissolve it, and restructure. So in the restructure, he's not on any paperwork. Not only that, but now I'm back to my original vision, which was to have franchise, keep it simple, Southern sweets and treats, and have franchises all over. So with my restructure, as soon as we restructure, I get a call. I actually meet some people on here, and they're like, you know what? We don't have what you make out here. And I'm like, oh, yeah. Well, that'd be interesting, but there's so many laws. They're like, no, we'll help you out. So our first franchise, after we reopen up our local one, because we still have, like I said, we still have our commercial kitchen we produce out of. But after we open up our local one, our first franchise is Dubai. We already have Miami booked. So it's like all this happened. There was like this quiet period of guys like just sit and rest, restructure, get yourself together. And so in doing that, there was this mourning period because I didn't know what was coming. I was like, well, what am I supposed to do? I'm known as the bakery lady now. What am I supposed to do? Really? And, it was just, that's when, and that's how good God is, because all this happened. I mourned it from April, May, June 1st. I was like, no more. And that's when Stream Life was birthed. That's when it was like, okay, start working on Stream Life, start getting all this stuff. So that project has kept me busy and kept me focused on the things I need to be focused on. And then as soon as that launched, just as that was getting ready to launch, in came all these, well, don't you own a bakery? Oh yeah, how can we own part of your bakery? How can we do this? So December, we signed the first paperwork and the contracts, dry audit and everything for Dubai, Miami, LA, which is, LA and San Diego, where I'm from. So this year alone, we're going to have at least 6 going in. So it's just amazing the things that God will do. And then with Stream Life, it's disruptive to the streaming industry. And like I was telling people when I was doing my pitch on it, there's 2 types of people in the world: people who stream and people who haven't streamed yet. And that's why Stream Life works. Just like you think back to 2003 and texting. I was the girl who was like, don't text me. You call me? It's easier. Like, I don't want to do all this. Now I'm the girl who's like, don't call me. Can you text that? Think to yourself first. Can you text that? And the whole world exactly. The whole world operates like that. And so now here we are. I've never met you before, Miss Michelle, and we're having this connection. That's the power of streaming and having a Stream Life, and everyone's going to get there at some point. So all of these people who are watching, all of these people who are looking at this and participating, whether it's Periscope, Peach, Fire Talk, Blab, whatever it is, you're early adopters. You're the people who were texting and annoying your friends back in 2002 and 2003, but now, everyone's going to catch up to it. So those people who are on it now are going to be the people who benefit from it the most. And so when I got that word, I got that vision so clear, like I said, I am not a tech girl, but when it says it, I was like, okay, let me write this down. Let me do this and this. And then I saw it, and I kept seeing the same repeating pattern, especially on Periscope. Monetize your scope, get your coins. I'm like, how are y'all monetizing? All they were doing was selling each other's regurgitated coaching and get my ebook. And I'm like, okay, but you're teaching the same thing she's teaching on this channel. And I know you took her course. I saw you in her channel. And then it started to become this, when you were watching people fight within the Periscope, like one person's trying to give their Periscope, and then there are people typing, I took your class, I didn't get nothing from it, don't buy her class. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I started seeing the repeating pattern. So I sat back and I stopped scoping. I stopped doing anything except for just like kind of hangout blabs. And I just sat and watched. And I sat and watched every platform, and I watched there's something called blab burnout, and I have all this stuff, all part of because that's my background is, is psychology and sociology. So I find all of this extremely, extremely interesting. So I'm sitting back and I'm going, okay, so blab has a burnout period. Periscope has a confrontation period, and it's all the platforms have different things. The only one that doesn't seem to have any real issue, and it's because of their market, is Meerkat. So, when you're on all these different platforms, you're going, okay. it's easy for me to sit back and watch it because I'm not so involved, which is why I think it was so easy for me to answer the question, how do you monetize a stream? How do you generate income from that? Because I have other businesses going. My focus was not to monetize anything I was doing. I just wanted to come on here, cook a few things, and have a good time. So I was never looking at how can I monetize this? And then I saw what everyone was searching. So, when everyone's looking so hard, they can't find it. But the minute someone walks in, they go, oh, it's right there. You walked over it like 8 times. And that's how Stream Life was born. So on top of all of that, I also do ministry full time. And I have the Office of a Prophet in Powerful Life Church. And that's what I do. So you'll see me on here sometimes doing prophetic blabs and giving people word for the year and that kind of stuff. But that's my life. That's my life. That's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Now look, I thought I did everything in the world because I can't sit down. It looked like you might have me beat there. What you think, Dr.?
Think about it though. That's okay because it's never the competition part of it. It's just about doing what you're supposed to do. And so I read something just recently that I wrote a year ago about how blessed I am that my gifts make room for me. And it's just that right there. I was literally just, I remember writing it when I was able to read it on Facebook, and it was like my memory from a year ago. It brought me to tears because I was just like, that's why when Miss Daphne was like, come on, I was like, no, I literally had just read it, and I was just like cleaning up my face a little bit like, okay, hold on, well, come on. And I was like, I just read it in that humbling moment of look what God did. And not to make this a God blab, but that's my life. It's some testimony of who I am, and if it wasn't for God, I wouldn't be here, and wouldn't be where I'm at, because everything I try to do in my own power never worked. And even going forth is to going back to the original company that started everything else. The Creative Genius was the name of that company, and it was a PR marketing company. My pastor was the rapper Mace, Mace and Betha. So when what God knew was that he was going to stray. And what God did by closing that company down and getting me removed from that, it made it so I didn't hit the fray when he strayed, because I was with him for 5 years straight, like that, brother and sister constantly together. If I wasn't with him, I was with his wife, So when they were having problems and I was covering from them, you start to cover someone's sin, you become part of that sin. And so God removed me from that, not only closed the company, so it removed me from the people he was part of. It also removed me from, their situation. So God told me to leave the church in 2013, 2014, God said, leave the church. He told me 2013, I stayed a whole other year. I wasn't obedient, let me be honest. I wasn't obedient like I should have been. And then so all this negativity happened. He wasn't showing up. I was stuck teaching. He was back in the rap game, all this kind of stuff. And people are looking at me like, well, Yvette, you gonna teach, what you gonna do? And God was like, I told you not to come. I told you not to come. I told you not to come. And then finally, I had to sit down and talk with us because I'm a very loyal person. I'm like, well, God, you sent me back. You sent me for the loss, and he's lost right now. So I'm trying to talk it out in my head. I'm trying to tell God how it's gonna go. And he's like, I'm gonna tell you, make a bet for you. I'm going to tell you, because God speaks very clear to me. I don't know how he speaks to y'all, but he's very, very clear with me. He's like, I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you to tell him this, this, and this. And I want you to promise me that if he doesn't receive it, that you'll never go back another day. Because he's not going to receive it. I'm like, oh, he's going to receive it. He's going to receive it. So I go up to him. I was like, God told me to tell you this, this, and this. And I know it spoke to him because I saw the look on his face. And he goes, God wouldn't tell you that. I'm your pastor. He's tell me that first. And I was like, God did tell you that. And like you teach, he's going to tell you in 3 ways. He's going to tell you through the word, rhema word, and through messenger. You didn't pay attention to the first 2. So here I am. And he shut the door in my face. He's like, I'll see you next week, Yvette, and slammed the car door in my face. I was like, see, I told you not to come back another day. I never went back another day. Fast forward to this past summer. I'm on vacation in Vegas. I'm, having a good time. I'm at the pool, and all of a sudden, I start. Well, let me back. I'm not that it wasn't all of a sudden, but I pull up to the hotel I'm staying at in Vegas, and on the billboard for the hotel, Mace all over. I'm like, oh, you've got to be kidding me. And it's, and I had the dream beforehand. I had a dream. I was like, I don't know. I had a dream that I ran into him in Vegas or something. But I get to the hotel, and he's performing at the hotel. I have no clue where he's performing. I'm minding my business. I'm at the pool. All of a sudden, it hits and the music drops, and I was like, there's a stage at the pool. I'm like, who performs at the pool? Like, you know, like who performs at the pool? But let me tell you though, the minute he saw me, his whole body froze and his voice got high. He was convicted in that moment, you know, because he knows what he left with. And so God used me to place me there to give him yet another warning, another situation. And so he started speaking and speaking and speaking. He's like, every time he looked at me, he goes, does anybody else here have haters? And I'm like, I'm not here to hate you, dude. Like, it's not, you know, it's not that kind of party. I literally 5 years of my life, I dedicated to family and his churches and those types of things. But it's really just, you know, what God wanted me to do and had me to do at that time. So going forward, I'm like, I need to speak with him, just let him know, like, I'm not upset with him. I'm disappointed in what you did, but I'm not upset with you. I still love you. You know, I mean, when TMZ was calling me, when all the stuff happened with him and his wife getting divorced and her getting the DUI, all kind of stuff, TMZ's calling me. I was like, you need to not call me. Like, I'm not that person. Well, we were told, you know, don't call me. So I want to let him know, like, look, we're good. You know, it's nothing like that. He looks at me, he sees me, he goes, Yvette. And I'm like, hey. And he turns to the security guard and goes, keep her away from me. Takes a sip of his drink and goes and sits down with the groupie who looks just like a mini version of his wife. And I was like, where did that come from? That was so ugly. So fast forward 2 weeks, I'm at Essence Festival and I bump into him again. And I'm like, okay, God's really trying to tell you something right now. Like, you need to be paying attention. So you only can give the word so many times. And, you know, that's where I'm at with that situation. Like, I've given the word, I've delivered the word, I've been used of it, but it was also for the closure that I needed. So when I bumped into the second time, we did make a peace, but God was like, your part here was done. And that's where it freed me up. It allowed me to start working on, you know, everything else that I've been working on. So now we're back to Stream Life is here. You know, Stream Life is live and it's here and it's exciting and it's new. And then the bakery is amazing. It's taking off. And then through all that, like I said, what got me into streaming was the networking show, the network show. And when I read the contract, they want to own you for 3 years. Like, I couldn't even blab without their permission first. That's how, like, I'm not going to say it, but I'm sure you'll figure it out. But if you ever look at like those shows, it's like, oh, this network star and this. Even when they win, you don't see them for like 3 years. You don't see, like, by the time they come up again, you're like, who is that? Oh yeah, they were on that show. It's because their contracts are so tight that they don't let you do anything without their first right of refusal. And then so when I started streaming, I went, when I saw the reactions and the following and all those types of things, I said, well, what do I need a network for? Because just off this one little platform, because I mean, Blab is not that big. Let's just be honest. There's not that many people on here. Yeah. You know, Blab's not that big. But the fact that you can take your show and put it on your website, put it on your YouTube, this and this, but just off of Blab itself, I mean, when there's only 2,800 people usually at a time on Blab, my audience was over a quarter share of that when I was doing live cooking shows. So I was like, okay, well, doing that on just this little platform is allowing me to grow an audience. What if I did it here? What if I did it there? So I started testing the waters, YouTube Live, so it was all part of God's plan and purpose. It was all part of that to get me to this point where it's like, it's the answer to my prayer, because my prayer has truly been, God, put me in a position where I'm able to do what you told me back then to do ministry full time. Let me go back to doing ministry, like where I don't have to be in a kitchen every day. I don't have to do these types of things. And so with Stream Life, it runs itself. You know, the bakeries are now franchises. So I go in for a month and I train the franchisee on how to run it. And then I'm done. You know, I don't have to bake every day. The only thing I'll be doing is the special events and stuff like the Super Bowls and things like that. But even that, I'm learning to woosah that out. It's not my personal baby I have to hold on to so tight, you know. So that has helped a lot. And then through all of that, like through the stream and everything, I said, okay, I sat down and I wrote a cookbook, because getting back to how O Taste and See started was that, like I said, I couldn't bake, but I could hear. God was like, put this in it. Stop. That's enough. Put this in it. Put this in it. So we had to work our way through even how to make the recipes for the franchisees to do it, because there were no recipes. It's like me and God in the kitchen, me, God, and Shaka Khan playing, you know, in the kitchen. And I'm just making stuff every night, and then we'd sell it and make it every night and sell it. So then we had what we figured out was, because I didn't measure anything, I said, let's weigh everything first, and then we'll figure out how much I've used after every one. So we were able to do our recipes from that. So from that came the cookbooks. And also through all that was a 200-pound weight loss, because I'm just hearing, don't eat that, eat this. Don't eat that, eat this. And so in putting together those recipes, and so through putting together those recipes came it's actually my third cookbook, was going to be the first one coming out, Prophetic Foods.
Okay.
I want you to eat to help fight fat, failure, and gain your faith, because when you eat clear, you can hear clearly. When you're doing what's right for your body, you can do these things. So yeah, 200 pounds. You look on my Twitter, you'll see the picture, the before and after. But yeah, it's and I'm still losing. I still have 60 more pounds to go. But that's the thing. Is like I did everything the world would tell you to do. I had lap band surgery. They considered me a lap band failure. They did all this other kind of stuff. They're like, you're not losing anything. And then they found out now that you're not supposed to have the lap band when you're that big. Like, it's only meant for people who need to lose like 30, 50 pounds. I did all the things that the world would tell you to do. And it wasn't until I told them, leave me alone. Don't touch me anymore. I'm not going to cut up my body. I'm not going to do this stuff anymore. Because they were like, well, you're a lap band failure, so we need to give you a gastric bypass. And I was like, that just never set well with my spirit. Like, the whole reason I went with lap band was that it was removable and they weren't cutting anything out. So I was like, okay. And I thought about it. I was like, I am not going to do that. I was like, you don't need to do that. Just listen to what I'm telling you to do. And I started getting these recipes. And it was like how to eat this way, how to make smoothies. And even like my smoothies, like they became, when we opened the bakery, we would do lunch and breakfast. And it was, people would be lining up for the smoothies. Like, I don't know what you do these smoothies. I'm losing all this weight because they taste so good. This is this. The little things that God would tell me to do, like put vanilla in it, put fresh vanilla bean in it, put a little bit of this in it just to change the taste of things, or how to make a soup. Like I said, as I'm cooking, I literally hear this, stop. Okay, that's enough. Put this in it, put that in it. And so now it's like this big, thing that has turned into, like I said, 4 cookbooks. And then through doing the streaming and all that kind of stuff, I figured out I could do my own show. I don't need them. So the Culinary Candy was born. So those companies, and then also too, going back to the prophetic side, we have a prophetic business consulting company called Trusted with Destiny. So we do that where people run their business deals past us. We pray over it. We do all kinds of stuff, and we help give them guidance for their business. So those are my 4 major things. So we've got Stream Life, OTCC, Trusted with Destiny, and Culinary Candy. And Trusted with Destiny also has a print club where we offer basically it's a Costco for printing. So it's part of our business services program. So that's what I do all day, and minister. So that's what I do.
Out of everything that you said, and Dr. Daphne, I'm sure she heard this too, it was all about God and him
Amen.
Positioning you where you needed to be in your life and making you listen when sometimes in life we tend to stray away because we don't want to hear his word, when in essence he's talking to us all the time. And in disobedience, we find that we go astray in disobedience.
Oh, well, I have to tell you, a lot of what she said tonight, I was hearing for the first time, because I knew several companies. So when I spoke at the top of the hour, I was mentioning about her being a baker and a prophet. And I knew she had, she was on hiatus from the church, but I didn't know. So it's a whole new revelation that I got tonight too. So it's all good. It's all good. So Nichelle, you have quite a few people, and we have an egg. I don't know if anybody would like some scrambled egg for supper, but we could scramble some. We have scrambled egg. Have some people asking what was on networking blab. So you could introduce yourself in the chat, say your first name and where you're from. Nichelle is the host for this blab, but she wanted to do it so we could get to meet each other and find out what each other is about. So introduce yourself in the blab, in the chat, tell her what you do, and then she will consider giving you a seat. So Sharon got dropped off because she was freezing. So Sharon, try and come back. I don't see Narvet anymore. The show is called Networking Blab, and it's Digital Connect. Digital Connect is Nichelle's handle.
Diverse Connect.
Diverse?
Diverse.
Oh, Diverse Connect. Somebody's asking me on Periscope. I'm telling all wrong. Diverse Connect. Diverse Connect is the name of the.
Yes, I'm trying to actually, because I got my name changed on Periscope. It was Diverse Connect too. But when I signed up, because that was my Twitter, it took forever for them to change it. But they did. They are so gracious at Periscope. They changed it, but I don't even know where to go to get it changed on Blab here.
Blab, okay.
You are Diverse Connect on here. Is that not here supposed to be?
Yes, I'm Diverse Connect on here, but on Twitter, I'm Nichelle Womack.
Okay.
So it's not even syncing between my Twitter and my Blab. It's not syncing at all.
Okay, because two different people. Okay, so you have wake up better, I think it is.
I like that, wake up better.
Mr. Wake Up Better, Aaron's story is amazing. Ladies, it was a pleasure. I'm gonna let someone else jump in. Thank you so much. I'm gonna stay in the comments.
Thank you so much, Yvette. It was a pleasure meeting you. God bless you in your journey and everything that you've shared. May you be highly anointed and favored, because you already are.
Amen. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Yes, you too.
To my sister. All right, Sharon, can you come on in? So you can go ahead. One of the things on Blab here, you keep watching and see when the people come on to welcome them. Unless sometimes you have supporters in the room that will do that for you, because sometimes we get so involved in the conversation that's going on and we lose watching the room. So we have to learn to do both.
Someone said they're getting to the computer.
Okay.
Addison Media. It's good to network in our community. It's good to network with everyone, because you never know who has gifts that can possibly bless you or bless others. And all my life, I've been a servant. And I know, Dr. Daphne, you've pretty much stated the same thing, being a servant. And when we work together, we can help each other versus not working together and things not happening. You never know who can connect you with one person or another to help you establish your dreams.
Exactly, because the time when people work hard is long gone. Now it's time to work smart.
Exactly. And
this is what this is about, working smart and understand about collaboration and joint venture. Because you listen to the millionaires and multimillionaires, that's how they do it. You never hear any of them tell you that they didn't go to bed until what time of the morning. They was trying to get something done. No, they are working collaboratively on joint ventures. And, please excuse me for saying this, but I think Black people have an issue with collaboration.
Amen.
When we go network, we think it's about pushing business cards. No one is spending the time to connect and relate. So when you leave there with somebody's card, you honestly knows about that person. Because how many of us, when we go somewhere, we have a person's business card with us? We don't. However, when we take the time to connect and to relate, when we go out and we are engaged in other conversations, I can very well say, you know something? I have just the person for you. I just met Nichelle Walmart the other day, and she does exactly what you're looking for. I don't have her number here, but when I get back to my office, I can give it to you. Because what happened? I walk around with your story stored away in my authentic place. I can pull it out because I spend the time to listen to what you say about you. A lot of times we all want to just talk about ourselves, and we don't give the other person a minute to say, you know. So that's just my 2 cents. So we have to open. Addison Media, come on in.
Are you there? Because I don't see it. Still says open seat, so nobody has come in yet.
They need to push on it to call, and then you're going to check the green thing again like you did. Question: what do you see? The Len 2X. What's your question? What do you do? Oh, Robert. Hey, Robert. I hope you're not an egg, because I'm going to scramble you. Okay.
No eggs.
Robert, I am a reinvention and transformational coach. I am a speaker, a retreat facilitator. However, all the things that I do fall under the umbrella of personal development. So I can help you to turn your mess into your message.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So are you the egg? The Len 2XD, are you the... Oh, no, you are the logo.
No, he has a picture.
Which flag is that? Len 2X. Yeah, what flag is that?
Texas.
All right, hop on up in that seat here. You are safe. We're not going to fry you. We only scramble and fry eggs. You're fine. Oh,
hey, Robert, he's joining us in there. Oh, I like what he does. He's a FHA, VA, conventional, and home buyer, down payment assistance for qualified buyers.
Oh, right up your alley.
Exactly. Real estate. I love talking real estate. Hey, Robert, welcome. Thank you for joining us. And I think Sherry is on as well.
Oh, there you go.
Miss Adam.
Look at Robert. Robert is... Oh, looking up in here. Everybody is fine. Lord. You can't step down, Sharon. Ooh, well, that's my friend Sharon. How many years we have known each other, Sharon?
Gosh, Dr. Daphne, I think we probably met 2010 or 2011. Yes. And I'm telling you, when you meet Dr. Daphne, you will never forget her.
You sure won't.
And so she has had a major impact on my life. She's the first lady who told me I needed a coach. And she wasn't afraid to tell me that I needed to invest in myself. And thousands of dollars later, I'm glad we met. And that's the thing about it, folks. Never be afraid to pour into others.
Right. Amen.
Because what goes out in this universe, what goes out into this world, whichever you're more comfortable with, it comes back to you. And even the young lady that was speaking before, her journey was quite interesting. And there were so many lessons that I heard in that. And for me, even after meeting Dr. Daphne and, investing in myself and trying to really connect with my purpose, that's the thing. I also learned that it is important that when you have people step into your space, you need to understand that they must be in alignment with your calling. And so for me, understanding my purpose, trusting it, embracing it, and walking into it has meant so much. And so her story over and over again, there were so many lessons to be learned. And I'm so glad that I had a chance to connect with you all. So I'm Sharon. I'm based in New Jersey. Just a short intro. And I work mostly with those who are looking to embrace the awesome power that's within them. And that is so powerful that I had to trademark it, folks. Make sure when you put anything out there that you protect it. That's also another part of the story. But in order for us even to monetize what we do, we have to be able to trust and learn how to embrace what God has given us. And so the lessons here tonight, even in her story, was just so amazing. You can't afford to cut God out of the equation. because there are many times we're trying to please others, right? When in fact, in her story too, it's about being a good steward of what God has given you. So there's so many stories. Just glad for the networking opportunity. And that's me, Addison Media. Put a .com behind that, and that's how you find me.
Wow. Absolutely fabulous. I just really enjoy hearing when we are all successful in every facet of our lives. And you just made a great point. I mean, you can't keep your gifts to yourself. And I truly believe that, because you give and you receive. And so many people just keep their hands closed. And when you keep your hands closed, you're not open to receive. And so that's a great message, Sherry.
Yeah. And even for, just to say, when I first met Dr. Daphne, this is what people must understand. You need to be bold enough to walk into your gifts, because not only did it change my life, but the trajectory of my children, my relationships, and so forth. And so for people out there who are thinking, nobody wants to hear me, who wants to hear my story? Maybe I don't have enough letters behind my name, and so forth and so on. Be bold enough to step into your purpose, into your dream. Because when she spoke into my life years later, amazing change. Who would knew that I thought that I would even become a coach, right? Who knew that I felt that I too could travel and make a difference in the lives of others? So if anybody's thinking about that, please just be bold enough to step into what God has called you to do.
Yes. Someone asked me a while ago, how do you know what your calling is? And my thing is that I knew that when I would do something for free, for one, that was my passion, and I wouldn't look for compensation, and it made me feel good, and I could jump out of the bed in the morning and feel great about what I was doing. I knew that was my calling. So how would you all think, how would you define what is, or how do you know what your passion is?
For me, really, in my background, like Dr. Daphne, I'm also a registered nurse.
Oh, okay.
And I knew that I was called to nurture, to care for people. I love communications, because even I've been on radios longer than I've been a DJ. So when I start telling people about my life, like you, Nichelle, they'll be like, what? But I love what I do. And it's of being of service. Whenever I'm able to touch the lives of somebody, when you're able to touch the life of somebody else and you walk away and you don't worry about if you got a dime for it and you feel good, that's it. That's the power that's within, that when you're able to walk away from it and like, I'm good. I'm good. You just feel it. Yeah. And so when things start to come into alignment for me, when I had to go back and look at the different things that I did nursing, I love to travel, I love communications. And then I started to put those things together. So I was one of those nurses who traveled on medical missions, but I was also the one covering the media. So I started to do the things that I loved. You did not have to pay me to do that.
See?
Radio, I started out volunteering. You didn't have to pay me to do that. Right? So when you start to find those things and they're coming together, for some reason, you're like, oh my goodness, could this be it? And then you're being of service to other people. Exactly. So that's it. When you start to fine tune it. And for me, having, there's so many people like myself who are multi-talented. And it's the same, people say, oh, you're jack of all trade and master of none. But for me, I needed the focus. I needed the clarity. I needed to really, truly invest into myself, and have invested with some of the best of the very best. And when I notice when you're with these people, they're not really talking about money. Most of my coaches are 7-figure coaches. It's not money, it's being of service. And so when I learned to hone in on the things that I love, and I'm a work in progress, still a work in progress. And when I started to learn how to really understand that there's enough for all of us, just like air, there's abundance in the universe for all of us.
Yes.
And so when I started to learn that, and also how to appreciate abundance, because a lot of us, we become overwhelmed by it, right?
Yes.
So there were different things that I had to learn in the process of saying, what is it that I'm called to do? And so when I started to put them together, and it feels right, and it's making a difference, and I'm not worrying about the dollar bill, because guess what? when you're good at what you do,
it's gonna come.
you're going to be compensated for it, right? Holla, right? So it doesn't matter. I'm a nurse. I'm going to get paid, folks. I'm getting paid. When I'm a critical care nurse, when I'm pumping on somebody's chest and a trauma nurse, I'm not thinking about how much I'm making per second, per minute. It doesn't matter. As long as I step in there, I know I'm getting paid. So I'm not worried about that. And sometimes we stay longer and do more, but it's within your core. What's inside of you? That power that, hey, I'm ready to trust it and embrace it. And I know that God will provide, that he will take care, that my seed will not beg bread. And what I want for my children, I want the same for yours. When you can feel that and be so true to that, you found it. Boom.
Boom. We need more of that in this world because, I mean, oh my God. What you say, Robert?
Yeah, Robert, what you say? Robert is like, hey.
Gotta learn how to listen sometimes. I'm just listening. Thanks for having me. You can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Just learning about this new platform to see if I can implement it in my business. As you saw in the description, I'm in the mortgage lending business, and I may not verbalize it as well as Miss Sherry Addison. But I'm as passionate as well as helping people understand the responsibility and the privilege of being a homeowner. Lastly, with all of that, helping them to put them in the best position via the different programs that are available that a lot of people don't know about to help overcome certain barriers, particularly for folks that have the same melatonin as I do and anyone else that might be challenged with down payment and closing costs and things of that nature. So just kind of trolling tonight, understanding the platform. You guys are doing an awesome job. Thanks for letting me come into one of the seats.
Robert.
And I think, Robert, yeah, what you're doing is amazing. You're providing a service. And for you not to even worry about it when folks understand, when they see the value in what you're giving and you go above and beyond, trust me, they will invest in that. And I really appreciate what you're doing because owning a home is a pretty big deal and you're providing an awesome service. I'm sorry, go ahead, Michelle.
Oh, no, I was just going to really just clarify what he said too, because I've been in the real estate business for 16 years as a broker.
Okay.
And I've been in real estate really about 25 years, but I didn't really understand it until I became licensed. And I looked at it from the business side versus just going out there from the investment side. So I really can concur what you're saying about people getting home ownership, because so many people don't think that they can own it. They don't want to own because they don't know how to own. And, you know, I come from the Robert Kiyosaki background that, you know, I believe in everything that he teaches, not necessarily that a home is your greatest asset. However, I think it's a solution to people getting out of debt. I certainly believe that.
Right.
And when I say that profoundly for the simple reason, because when I work with people every day, Robert, the first thing that they tell me, they didn't know, as I mentioned, that they can qualify for a loan because no one ever told them. They're so used to paying rent and they think that's the way to go. They don't know what their credit is. And that's the first thing to self-sufficiency. Self-sufficiency and wealth is to know your credit score.
See,
that's the only way.
So you about to tap into my passion. Now I'm about to start preaching because
all right,
there you go.
I'm just like you all. You know, I've never advertised. The Lord has truly blessed me and he provides my needs. Therefore, I've always gone about this as truly trying to help people. And the number one thing that I see, especially with minorities, I'll just say minorities, credit is killing us, the lack thereof. And we got to get a grasp on the credit. I heard another gentleman on another blab just prior to coming to this one, and he mentioned that he thought that, you know, it was better for you to rent. I don't believe that because, you know, when you look at the pros and cons, like you said, Robert Kiyosaki, it's a tool. This house is a liability, but if I do it the right way, I have some tax benefits and I can make some money because most people aren't going to save $1. Most folks, when you look over a lifetime, when they get older, that's all they really have is a paid off home if they've done it right. So education is the key. Credit the lack thereof. I mean, it's insurance, medical insurance. They're using these credit scores for everything, and it's costing people tons of money. So I think this is a good platform to kind of get that word out. Did I lose everybody?
No, I'm still here, Robert.
Yes,
Can you
ma'am.
hear
I
me?
can hear you.
Okay, so until Nichelle comes in, I think Dr. Daphne said she was having
iPad,
difficulties with her video,
Yeah.
so she's going to stay off a little bit. So until Nichelle jumps in, how can we support you in getting the information out to the people who may need your services?
You know, I'll leave my website in the description, but this is what's really helping me because, to be honest with you, I've been afraid to get on stuff like this and to just talk. So just watching you guys and understanding how you're using the tools, I think the live streaming is where it's going as far as advertising.
Awesome.
So this is helping me tremendously. And you know of anyone in the Texas area, I can leave my website out and they can contact with me any kind of way. That way.
Yeah. And I think what would be great, because I've been in radio for about 20 years, and I tell you what, because I'm Jamaican, so we have 8 jobs, 2 more to make it 10. Dr. Daphne is Jamaican too, because Nichelle's got quite a few jobs. But I tell you what works, just the way you articulated and you came across, that even if you thought about doing a weekly show, maybe on Blog Talk, or even on Blab, you could do that. You could use social media, because right now the best way to get to people is by their phone.
I agree.
And so many of us listen via radio, by a phone. So the best way to do that is to educate people. And so you could have a half-hour show that you could think about. You could plan it out where people can come tune in and listen. I'm certain you can have small meetup groups in your area, maybe at a local library or wherever. A Panera Bread here, we do small meetups, really about educating people. Because like you're talking about the credit, oh my goodness, even with Robert Kiyosaki, I read his book and understood it. I never really understood, because I thought, the first thing when I owned my house was like, hey, I made it. Yeah, it's a liability. But then I started to understand. I'm saying, wait a minute, the people who own these apartment buildings are the one who's really got it going on. Yeah. Right? And like you're saying, understanding credit, understanding about having a small business, understanding certain laws, finding yourself in groups with like-minded people. And so if you were to do that little by little, you're going to find out that you are going to build a following. And not only that, when people know, like, and trust you, I'm sorry, I'm coaching now, but when they know, like, and trust you, they will start, right? They will start to reach out to you, maybe set up a consultation or something. So continue to give, educate, give as much as you can via your blog or your live stream, whichever way, or social media, these small groups. And when you give enough people what they want, who said that? Zig Ziglar? You in turn will get what you want.
you got me pumped up, Miss Sherry. You got me pumped up. So I appreciate.
Yeah, that's what happens when you invest in yourself, to understand that it's about the work. It's about putting the work in. It's not going to come easy. You can still have fun with it, but it's really about putting in the work and setting your intention and understanding. Guess what? There is enough for all of us. So I'm not sure, where's Nichelle? What happened? Do we need to refresh? Does she need to refresh?
Maybe she can stop recording.
Dr. Daphne?
Refresh, so they can get back on their show.
Yeah. So where are you based in?
I'm in San Antonio, Texas, but
Texas. I was in Dallas. It's hot over there.
It's better than being cold, from my opinion. I like it hot.
So what is the housing market like? What is it like there in your area? Most people do their own home. Nichelle, you're back, Lauren.
Look.
This is Nichelle's area now. So we're talking about real estate. You two can go now.
Thank you so much. As I mentioned, Dr. Daphne was teaching me.
I'm just trying to blah.
I appreciate that, because I got lost. I'm like, how the heck that? I don't know. I was trying to text Dr. Daphne. Look, she's talking about she's eating. Come on, Dr. Daphne. And I got lost, and I was trying to text her to see if she was okay, and it just went out. But Robert, like you too, I am learning.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I apologize.
Yeah.
Go ahead and continue.
No, I was just the market is strong to answer your question
No,
in a short
Robert is frozen.
response.
There we go. Go ahead.
The market is very strong here in Texas.
Mhm.
Lot of people moving here from a lot of different states as well as countries. The economy is strong here. You know, good manufacturing base. A lot of military, especially here where I am. So,
Mhm.
noticing a lot of growth. Good, strong 3 to 4% appreciation year over year. So, I haven't noticed any other slowdown that some of the other cities and markets have experienced.
Yeah, I know a lot of people in the medical field, a lot of nurses and physicians are moving to Texas.
Yeah, I know a couple
Yeah, I
too.
don't. You know,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to come to where you guys are. There's too many people coming here. It's getting crazy. I mean, folks
Well,
are
it's
coming
an
from
amazing
everywhere.
opportunity for you. So that's why you need to get out there. So, Nichelle, what I said to Robert, it's about really providing value to people. When maybe, when it comes to real estate, it just so happened we started talking about that. So, any hints on how he could get people interested in what he does? I suggested maybe doing a small uh, blog talk radio, local radio, or something like that, or maybe this live stream. Any way that he could educate people about home ownership and all the other things that comes with owning a home.
Well, I wish you were here with me, Robert, because I'm getting ready to do a home buying seminar. And the best way to do that is through types of seminars, because you can educate people. And you don't want to come off as appearing as threatening to them because they don't know what it is, and just form it as an educational seminar. And so that's what I do, how to generate some business, do an educational form. And I bring in mortgage brokers, I bring in title companies, I bring in other real estate agents outside of myself too, so it don't look so marketing and promotional type of way. And we all just educate them. And whoever leaves away, we give them a card. And because I don't want people to choose me, I want people to choose me based on them choosing me. I don't want to push somebody to be my customer. And I think that's the wrong thing to do. So once they hear me speak, see what I can offer them, because each one of us has something different to offer. And I may not be the right agent for everybody. You may not be the right mortgage broker, but once they see that you're knowledgeable, and I think that's what the key is, see that you're knowledgeable, you know what you're talking about, you're going to care about the process that they're in. Right. Because people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Yeah. And when you keep that philosophy, people are attracted to you in what you do. And so that's how I would suggest that you do it. First of all, doing some type of educational format. Go to the different real estate companies within the Texas area, pass out the information, do collaborations, ask another real estate person if they're willing to do a seminar with you. And I think that's the best way that people can get to know you and know what you do.
I tell you, and I'll just, if I can add.
I'm sorry, just quickly, Nichelle, I think Dr. Daphne was.
Do I need to get off so she can get in?
Yeah. I don't even see it popping up.
So I don't know what you can see on your screen. But go ahead, Robert.
She's saying the connections key.
I'm sorry?
Dr. Daphne, can you let me know if you tried to get in? Did you see me? No, I don't see you at all. It's an open space here with nothing in it. It's not even where I can connect somebody. Maybe it's on your end. Okay, now it says open space, so try to come in now. It keeps coming out and coming in. Maybe if someone else would.
Yeah, I think she's trying to come in. Yeah.
Let me get off and let me see if
you sure come back on, Robert, and tell us. You was ready to tell us something.
I'll come back, but I'll come back. Let me see if Dr. Daphne could get on.
Okay, come on, Dr. Daphne.
I'll come back.
Oh, he's saying for him to stay because she's on Periscope.
I'm confused here because
so Nichelle,
I am in Missouri, St. Louis, Missouri, and we actually Missouri, the Midwest is one of the best places to buy real estate because it's cheap. I mean, you literally can get a 5-bedroom home, 2-bath, 3-bath, or whatnot for like around about $180,000, $200,000. Now I know that may seem high, but if you get a foreclosure, you can get a foreclosure for like $100,000. 5 bedrooms, 2 baths, 3 baths.
Wow.
Yes, yeah.
Missouri,
Missouri is
huh?
one of the best places to invest in real estate. In fact, I did a scope earlier today. I had two. Come on, Dr. Daphne. You said what?
Dr. Daphne is like, what? I think she's
You're
gonna come
right,
here and buy
right. Come on,
some.
Dr. Daphne. You're right, Dr.
She's gonna come and buy some real
Exactly.
estate. She's like,
It
what?
is. It's really cheap here. Yes. I'm trying to let you in. It's not even saying anything to let anyone in. I don't know.
Yeah, because I would click myself out, but I don't
No,
know
don't
if I
click
would be able
yourself
to
out.
come
Then I'll be
in.
here by myself. Okay, let's see. Come on, somebody do something because I don't know what to touch. The last time I touched something to comment, it went out. So I don't know. It's not even popping up to say open room or anything. It's like a blank there. You see that?
Yeah. So she's working it on Periscope. Dr.
She
Daphne,
said, now I see Michelle trying to
is she
get
trying to get in, share and stay where you are? Okay, she told me to stay
okay.
where I am. It's saying hit accept on the right
And you,
side. Okay, so
yeah, you might
Robert
have
is
to
still
do it.
with us. Yeah. So Robert, I do hope that you will you know, use some of the things we spoke about by maybe doing these small groups and going to the
And
people
see,
with your
Robert, I'm just trying to let
information.
you in, and it says that if I hit that X, will that cut you out? It's a red X. The red X mean Dr. Daphne. See,
Let's see what Dr. Daphne is
that's why I
saying.
say this is still a new
Wow.
medium because I mean I read directions and everything. Read above because Michelle, I'm on in 2 places. Bless God.
Oh, in 2
Only see
places.
one of
Oh,
me.
okay. So maybe your something is blocking
Oh,
one of the, because my section is where Dr. Daphne was. Yeah, I think Blab is still in beta because I was on Blab earlier, and you know, one of the first people also to jump early onto Periscope, which is another medium, of course, and didn't understand it, took myself off, came back, then went to Blab, came off Blab, and then came back on.
I'm
So,
trying to see if
we're just trying to see what
X that keeps
works.
coming up. If I hit that, does that like take you off or something?
Right.
Are you familiar with it?
Try that and see. I'm
Yeah,
not
I'm
sure.
scared
The
to
red
touch. I don't want to cut
X.
anybody up. Try it. Okay. Okay. So if
Yeah.
I do,
Let's
yeah,
see.
I'm scared to
Maybe I'll
do
go
it.
off.
Let's see.
Well, we have to do
Okay,
something
let's
so the
just
show
see.
can continue, or we could just
No, I
keep
just did it,
blabbing.
and
Okay. Do you see any place where you can
I see
accept Dr.
nothing.
Daphne?
Let me open up the screen.
Or do you need to refresh? All right, so I'm here by myself. Here I am. Oh, there goes Dr. Daphne.
Okay,
Yeah,
wonderful,
there you
nice.
go.
So
Hey,
Nichelle
Dr. Daphne, how are you? I see you.
is trying to get in. She needs to
Hi.
refresh. And
Now, where's Michelle?
my Periscope is off, so that's all right now. We are off over there.
Okay.
So yes. So my iPod was acting up. So yes, just
Acting up, yeah.
please
So
just
maybe
go
I should
ahead
do a
and
Periscope
share it
invite.
with the people over there. Because sometimes yes, I can
So while Michelle tries to get in,
her.
Dr. Daphne,
Michelle
you
just
can
need to refresh and
Michelle, we
I'll
can't hear
accept
you
her.
yet.
I think so. Just go ahead, Michelle, and go ahead and refresh your computer. Thanks, Sharon, for staying, because what happens if you leave, then it closes the blab out. Refresh now because there are 2 of us
The
here.
whole show closes. Okay. All right, Michelle. So maybe you can refresh.
Opportunity.
Wow, Dr. Daphne, this is such a
Don't
great
know about all of that. I'm doing my
platform.
best, but
And you're the bomb diggity bomb on all
Robert
of this
is still
stuff.
here, and I in my email, Robert. I would love to
Taking us
coach
to
you
school.
through that stuff. So give me a call.
Yes.
Send me an email, and you'll get my schedule. So Nish, refresh. All she has to do is to refresh.
You said to hit
And
F5 on the screen.
We got some. Look,
Michelle.
we got
Okay.
Robert is a techie person. Robert, he told me F5. So come on in here, Robert.
There she is.
Look at you all. Now we are all here. Yes.
Yeah, Robert.
Look at Mr.
Praise
Robert.
God.
Be sure.
Look, I love learning. I'm not touching anything else.
So I'm gonna send you an email, Dr. Daphne, and see
Yes.
what your schedule is.
You send me an email, and my virtual assistant will send you my schedule for you to choose a time.
Yes, ma'am.
So I miss everything I didn't hear. What anybody say? And that's why it's a blessing that there is replay.
Yeah, that's good. I hope they don't see all the transitions going on.
It's live. Yeah, it's live.
Yeah.
You know, and what that does
It happens
is show people that you don't need to be perfect, because a lot of folks are waiting around to perfect it. You never perfect it unless you are involved. So you have to come in. You can't stay on the sidelines trying to study it, because nothing is going to happen. You come on in, you try, you work on it, you straighten it out, and hold your head high. That's what it's all about. And that's what the authenticity of it is what works. Because if we're staying there and working on it and everything is so perfect, then the newbies don't want to try, because they say, oh, I was on Miss Womack's show, and ooh.
Hey everybody, how are you? We are on Blab Live with Sharon Addison. If you want to jump on and be our guest, it's a live networking session. So if you want to come on, jump on over, look for Diverse Connect.
Now, I can't see anyone
Hey
over
Camille,
here.
how are you? Diverse Connect. There's a young lady there that's doing a live Blab show. So if you want to jump on over, come on over and tell us about your business, your ministry, or what it is that you do. Camille, I'm fine. You really need to touch base with me, Camille. You need to email me. Go to my website that's in my bio and drop me a connect. We need to really check out. So everybody, we're on Blab. I'm Sharon Addison. I'm a speaker and a coach here in the New York tri-state area. I do a lot of media also. And I'm always looking to connect with amazing people. So jump on over to Periscope, all right?
Yes,
or
I can hear
Blab,
you.
I should say. Okay, guys, could you hear me?
Yeah.
You, because you mute yourself.
Okay,
It's
could you hear me before? I was
That's what
inviting
we
people over.
Have to be perfect. We heard you, we saw your phone, everything.
Okay, good. Okay, so I tried to mute myself. I don't know if it worked. I didn't want to be rude. You guys can continue on. A few people, you have to download Blab or go to Blab IM under Chrome to come on.
Sharon.
Here. So where are we in the show now, Dr. Daphne? Let me show folks.
When you need to mute yourself, you have to click on that little speaker and it goes orange. So that goes for everybody. You see the speaker thing there? That's pulsating at your shoulders. That's what you click on and it mutes you. No, but it's fine.
Okay, so I wasn't muted before? Yeah, I was trying to invite a lot of people to come on over. So thank you. See, I told you Dr. Daphne is a bomb diggity bomb with this.
Yes, because she had me together because she was like, are you on? And I said, I'm trying to get on. I don't know what's going on. But I mean, yeah, she is.
Just so I can.
All right, just to update new people who may be coming in about the show.
I can't even see who's coming in.
No, but just tell us, reintroduce ourselves, a little
No,
intro, Nichelle.
because we're going to have overlap. It gives them an opportunity to go back and listen to the replay. So you
Yeah, but then who are you, Dr. Daphne? You're so
they
cute.
join the
People need to know
conversation.
who
The
you are.
introductions is right at the beginning of the show, and they hang around to the end. They'll hear the close. Those that are coming on, they need to use this opportunity to tell us their first names and where they are from. And then they can pick up,
Yes.
and they can hear who the four of us are. So it becomes a continuation instead of overlap of recording of just the intro. So let's find out. I have 2 people on Periscope because I'm now back on Periscope because I was kicked off before. So the people on Periscope, both for myself and for Sharon, you still have your scope on. Come on and type your first name and say where you're from and what you do, because this is a networking event. So however, for those of you who want to be part of the recording, then you would need to join us on Blab. If you are using an Android, you need to download in your Chrome browser blab.im. And when you do that, you need to please go to @Diverse Connect, @Diverse Connect, and that will take you to the Blab that is in session right now. So
See, look at the teaching.
it's hosted by Nichelle Warmock, and we have Robert E. Lewis out of the Texas area, who is a real estate agent. We have Sharon Addison, and I think she's doing her own Periscope
I'm trying
over
to get
there.
people to download the app.
She's doing her own.
So maybe I should just step out a little bit.
But
Mhm.
no, you don't need to step out. You just need to stop.
All right, guys.
And
So I
leave
want you
yours
all to
because
come on
they are
over
going
to
to be
Blab.
hearing
All
what
right?
I'm saying.
Okay.
Sherry, do your Periscope folks have your Twitter address?
Yes.
Are they connected to you via
Hi,
Twitter?
Irma. We are doing network.
If you notice on the right hand side, if you hit that tweet button like I did,
Exactly.
it'll notify everybody on Twitter that they're following
Okay,
you,
everybody.
All right.
So
and then they can come on in.
To Blab.
on Twitter, name
Please.
handled.
Nice. Okay. So some people are coming. However, Sharon, if you want them to hear, you can leave it on and just it at that, and they'll hear everything
Okay.
that's taking place.
There you go.
That's the ones who do not have
All right,
Blab.
my Periscope people. So now we're back. Okay, go ahead, guys.
All right. So continue with your discussion, Mr. Robert.
So just real quick, if you look over in the section, just so I can add some value, I put a website for down payment assistance programs that anybody could use wherever they are in the States. And they could look for programs that are available in their area that might be applicable to them to help folks overcome the 2 biggest barriers to home ownership, which is the down payment and or closing costs. So that link will show you all of the free grant money, no recourse, that can help you get into a home if you're having problems with down payment and closing costs. So there are some criteria that you have to qualify with, but that's a great resource and a great place to start for wherever you are in the United States.
Well,
Can you say that too, Robert? Because I'm trying to click on it. I don't want to click out. Can you down payment resource?
Well, if you click on the link, Ms. Womack, it's just going to open up a new window in your browser. So you're fine. Just click on the link. You're good.
Robert, there are people on Periscope and they can't click on the link. So would you be kind enough to repeat it for them so they can get it?
How about I email it to you, Dr. Daphne, and you could get it out to your folks?
No.
No? Okay.
Would you please repeat it? Because I'm sure not going to be emailing it to 30,000 people. So.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So
Look, Dr. Daphne's got me scared. Yes, ma'am. Let me repeat it. It's a down payment resource.
And see, Robert, you just learned a valuable lesson
So
when it comes to taking opportunities with the media. Even though Dr. Daphne say, don't reintroduce, I'm not talking about long intro, because people sometimes jump in and they want to know because their attention span is very short. And so for me, using sound bites and using sound clips whenever you get a chance, that's the quickest way to do that. And also, you know, with social media. And one of the things Michelle mentioned before is when you show people that you really, truly care. Sometimes we hide a lot behind social media. Social media, it's all good. But it's great when we're able to go out. And even for myself, even though I do a lot of things virtually, I still go out. And so I've done my mini tours, and I've gone to Dallas, Florida, Atlanta, Bermuda, different places, because sometimes people want to get a chance to meet you, you know, and see what you're really about. There are times you can do that through social media, but then of course, like we suggested before, you know, what are the different streams that you can use to get people into that room? Once again, about home ownership, and to educate them, because like you touched on something before that a lot of people, it's almost like going to the dentist when they talk about credit. They're like, ah. And one thing Robert Kiyosaki said in one of his programs, that America wants me to be rich. And when he started talking about the tax laws, after that, I was like, the light bulb went on. The light bulb went on. And so it's really about educating people. And a lot of people aren't going to give you the information for free. Sometimes you may have to sit in a room and definitely invest in yourself to do that. And when we start to teach that and make it more known in our community, and I'm not just saying our community, like just our community, but just to let it known that, yeah, we do need to invest in ourselves. In order for us to get to the next level, we have to put something in order to get what we really need.
Okay.
Exactly.
But you guys just give me a minute. So the website that Robert is offering for you guys, it's downpaymentresource.com. Downpaymentresource.com. So that's where you can go and go through that, get all the information about obtaining money towards your down payment and your closing. Again, the site is downpaymentresource.com. All right. So welcome to all the people on Periscope. And those of you who are blabbers, join us at blab.im/diverse connection. All right. Go ahead, Miss Nichelle. Take the reins. You have let it go for a long time.
No, you know what? Because like I said, it's not about when you get out of the you syndrome, then you're
Dominique
able to not only bless others, but let others be blessings too. And so I live in that. Yes, welcome. And so actually, Robert made a really great point by sharing that resource, because it's not just available in Texas, it's available everywhere. And so if you are able to get on that www.downpaymentresource.com, and that's what I struggle with, Robert, because we do have some in Missouri, but people don't know where to go to get them. We have places that are set up and stationed to help give people resources for home ownership. But and even as a broker myself, the first thing I do before I even take somebody out to look for a home, first I pre-qualify them. And that's anything that you do in business. You have to pre-qualify people to make certain that they're the right customer for you and that what they have is available, that they're ready to go to that next level. And then I educate them. And so, you know, Sharon, she mentioned a great point. Education, we have to invest in ourselves. And if you are afraid to invest in yourself, then you will never reach the level of success that you are chosen to attain. And so teaching people about the principles of home ownership, the mortgage, because that really can get confusing. I think the mortgage issue is more confusing than the real estate issue, because it's just a legitimized contract that they go through. And I explain that to them bit by bit. But learning the mortgage lingo, you know, people, when the rates were adjustable and you had those adjustable rates, so many people got caught up in it. I got caught up in it. And was in the midst of almost foreclosure and I was the broker and did not know enough. And so I don't think you cannot invest in yourself enough. I don't think you cannot be educated enough, because there's always something to learn in any area of life, especially when you're talking about an investment
Michelle.
as valuable
Go ahead,
and as
Robert.
large as real estate.
I was just going to say one of the largest investments that most people will ever make in their lives. So all of you ladies are hitting it on the head. I don't want to take up a seat from someone else getting in, but I will say this. I agree with everything you said, and what resonates the most is this. As a community, and that's irregardless of race, color, creed, or gender, you have to be responsible for the actions that you take. You mentioned adjustable rate mortgages and things of that nature. I've gone through that period, and I sat in my office and told people, hey, you can buy $100,000 house, but because of greed and lust and things of that nature, you go down the street and get a $300,000 house because somebody told you what you wanted to hear. So as we're educating people, the thing I want to leave with before I get off is this. Be accountable, be present, and understand what it is that you're doing. You perish, you fail for the lack of knowledge, but with knowledge comes responsibility.
Wow. Thanks,
and there it is.
Robert, too, I want to add to that. I was an account rep for a bank, and I'm not going to name the bank, and they told us to go out and sell those adjustable mortgages. You know, that we had to do that to keep our job. And unfortunately, most of those people that fell into those adjustable rate mortgages, some of them, because I came in, I didn't have bad credit when I purchased my home. However, they were selling that because at the time, not only were they getting bigger perks, but they were also getting a better interest rate starting off, and then it inflated.
Well, you always have a voice of reason. I'll say this because, you know, the Lord has been used a lot, so I try not to preach, but I'll just say it. You know, God always he gives you an opportunity to hear the truth. So I know I was one telling people, not that adjustable rate mortgages are bad. They're excellent products.
And the income to deal with that.
But
exactly.
Well, the income to deal with it. But what I'm saying, Sherry, is this. Mm-hmm. At the root of the problem was most people were greedy. Their eyes wanted more than they could really afford. You see, and then the credit was horrible, right? So they chose to do 228s and things of that nature to get something that they couldn't afford. Just like me saying, hey, I'm going to lose 20 pounds, but I keep eating this ice cream. I'm not going to lose 20 pounds. So, you know, you have to be aware, accountable, and understand what is going on. Because
and that's why we, you know, so when folks who are just jumping in, it's not just about mortgage. What he's talking about, different things you can use in different areas of your life. Really, it's about educating, truly educating people. And I think before we do anything, when it comes to mindset, I love to teach about mindset. I don't care who you are or how many degrees you are, how much money you think you have in the bank, because we see folks winning money and all sorts of things happening. It's the mindset. And so even to prepare ourselves, even to the books that we read, to understand it and to be comfortable with it. I mean, at least 1 out of 10, all the people, the lives that you're going to touch, hopefully through your radio show that I hope you do, our podcast. You don't have to be there live all the time, but learn to use some of these things. And I think Dominique is here. She does some media, so she gets a chance to jump in. You could learn some ways on how you can really reach out and touch the lives of others. So, thanks. Thank you so much. Thanks, Robert. Yeah, she'd like to come in.
Dominique. Is she there?
I think Don is also in the room. One Take Pros is in the room. So this is good, y'all. Dr. Daphne, where's your tea?
Okay.
Usually Dr. Daphne is having tea.
It's water time. It's too early.
I have my tea.
What is that? And what are you drinking? Yeah,
just Earl Black tea, just tea, no sugar. I like it the same way you like it. I had some fancy teas too. And I actually like to drink out of a teacup.
I'm drinking somebody's water. I can't show you the label. They didn't.
They'd have to sponsor you.
But I'll drink my jasmine tea later on.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So hi, Ben. Thank you for joining. Would you be joining us on Blab?
Well, I did.
So where is Dominique? I'm not seeing her showing up.
Come on, Dominique. Where are you? Are you able to come on? Okay, so she's not able to come in at the moment, so she's
Okay.
listening in. But
would you type in the box and introduce yourself? This is a networking blab that was set up by Nichelle. So just type in there and let us know who you are, what you're doing, all that good stuff.
all right, so.
And Dr. Gaffney just made a great point, Sharon. She said that she was not going to say whose water it is because she didn't want to give them endorsements. We do that in life every day.
Oh,
you know, when you talk about
right.
business, we endorse things that don't endorse us. And you talked about monetizing earlier. I mean, Dr. Daphne and I were on the phone and we were discussing how we need to
and be unapologetic about it, you know, because we are looking that, oh, we got to help this person and help that person. Who is helping us? I mean, the Lord is helping us. However, we got to go out there and do what we need to do. So now I'm not showing nobody name out on my show. I said somebody that you may know. I'm not book. The only, hi Irma, how are you? Great to see you. Would you come on over and black and tell the community you do?
You know, Dr. Daphne and Nichelle, you spoke about even monetizing our gifts. And that's the thing. Too many people are waiting to be perfect. They're always waiting for the right time to say, you know, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. We're always waiting to be perfect. And I know people who have amazing platforms that can do, you know, people that I've helped them to turn things into curriculum. And even Dr. Daphne spoke about taking your mess and making it a message. You know, your test into a testimony. There's so many things that you can do. And I've gone to, and, you know, I'm sure Dr. Daphne, many of you can say the same thing, that we've invested in a lot of people. And you look and say, what? You know what? I could do that. But the thing is, the difference is they have the courage to do that. And so even while we're networking, you know, the courage to step into the arena. How many of us are developing those muscles? How many of us are developing the bounce back, as they call it? And what I started to do when I started to learn, I wanted to learn anything new, I start reading and spending more time on it. And for me, and one of the things that I learned, what's her name? Barbara Cochran from Shark Tank. Okay, I called her name out, but I'm going to tell you. There's something that I learned from her in the last 2 weeks that just, boom, just blew it wide open for me. Why some people were able to be more successful, not that they were more talented, but why is it that they were more successful than the other person? And her field is real estate. And when she said that one thing that I was struggling with, that I thought at least I was struggling with, it made the difference. And so it is important that we start to take the courage to step out in there. When we look at our legacy, of all the things we've been through and where we're from, come on, we cannot afford to lose that. We need to develop our courage to step into the arena. Any thoughts?
I totally agree with you. I mean, because when she, as you mentioned, she's in real estate. I listen to her all the time. In fact, I look at her, how she built her conglomerate as a company, and then from there she shared her other gifts as well. And one thing that I always like to expound on, people start one place but they don't end up there. And so many people, if you think you're going to start somewhere and end up there, then you're really totally mistaken. I mean, if you look at how many jobs people have over their lifetime, I mean, so all of those skills and those talents that you build up and develop, they're transferable. And most people don't know how to transfer those gifts into other areas. And when you hang around people such as you wonderful people and Robert that was in the room, and you see people doing different things, you learn from them and you adapt and you change and you grow from that perspective. So that's what I'm speaking of. People
the reason people don't know is because something that I've heard when I was off, when I was having sound problem, that you all addressed, is the fact that they refuse to invest in themselves. everybody wants something for free. And they don't realize how often and how much money each of us spend to be able to have this conversation that we are having tonight. You know, this did not come by downloading somebody's free ebook or getting somebody free DVD and CD. You know, I can only speak for myself. Over the years, there are many times when instead of buying grocery, I paid my coaches because I know that was my priority then. So you have to make the decision what it is you are willing to do to get to where you want to be. So as long as they refuse from investing in themselves, they are always going to be on the sideline being haters, because that's what happened.
But you know what, people sometimes, you know, even as a coach, and I'm sure Dr. Daphne, you've heard this, and even Michelle in your business, people think that they're giving you their money. They think that they're giving you their money. And I, you know, you're in, no, how do I say that? That, yeah, they think that they're giving you their money. And my thing is, you're only going to go so far.
Exactly. And only as your investment.
Absolutely. And for those of us, like Dr. Daphne said, we're not throwing any names out. We have sat at the table with multi-millionaires, right, Dr. Daphne? And the closer you get, you're like, what is the difference? But the thing is, what we've learned is how to celebrate somebody else's abundance. How when somebody else is being blessed. And as a child growing up, I too was born in Jamaica. And as a little girl, our parents would send us to, our siblings send us to the country every summer. So that we lived in Montego Bay, but we would go up into St. Elizabeth into the country area. So there was no electricity or running water. We had a tank and, you know, the outhouse, all of that stuff. We had to get our milk. We would milk the cows. And so every summer, the things that I thought was just like, oh my God, do we have to do that? Now, when I in a Starbucks and I see people with coffee, I said, I actually know how to cultivate coffee, because we had to learn that. You know, we had to learn certain things, but there was a thing about my grandparents, what they did, they were always giving. And I was pretty much annoyed by it, that we always have to get dressed up in our best, Sunday's best or whatever, or be really polite and go to other people's house to give them our stuff. So my thing was like, why are we always giving away our stuff? Well, years later, when we went back to Jamaica after my grandparents passed, do you know how many people remembered us? What they were doing at the time, they were creating a legacy that we did not understand. And so even for us in business and real estate, I am understanding it. And you look at those big names who have it on their airplanes and hotels and so forth. They're creating a legacy.
Right.
That is important. Yeah.
And you know what? When you go back to our history, legacies were created then too. It wasn't until the shift of people becoming employed because they needed that check right then and there that they became dependent. And once you resort to dependence, that's all you know, unless you're liberated and freed to something else. And so when you look at history, people have to realize entrepreneurship has been around for quite some time. But most people, they don't know, because they didn't read about it, for one, and then they weren't there back that time. So when you go back through history, I tell people this all the time. This is nothing new. People have been liberated for so long, but it just depends on how far you go
and
to receive your liberation.
Touch back on the country. I live in the rural part of Jamaica, and as I evolve now in my adult and professional life, and the word networking comes up so often, I look back, father, and the men in the district who were farmers. Because remember, Sharon, in the country, they did not have tractors. The men tilled the soil with pitchforks.
Yes.
1 week, they would work Mr. Addison's farm. All the men would go until Mr. Then they would go until Mr. Henry's farm. all the men. Then they go week by week to Mr. Womack, and then all the men in the district had their farms done. What they were doing, they were networking.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
It's a pig farm.
Fork, like a garden fork.
You gotta
type it in the
And
box.
everything was done manual labor. Yeah, they used a pick, a hoe, everything.
Okay.
They used it. And so, yes, and so the thing about it.
That's what they used to till the soil. Manual. They didn't have it. You look on those acres and acres of farming that they did. And I'm looking back, I said, my God, that was networking in its finest.
Absolutely.
Working in its finest. They have the metal
That's true.
pans that the oil come in, and that's what they take to the field to cook their lunches. And they have the big piece of pork and all, they make the dumplings and everything. I always to have, they call it workmen. They didn't call it networking. They say workmen.
Right.
And that used to happen. And when I look back on those things in my life, this is why I treasure connection and relationship. And the young people now who they are growing up now with a sense of entitlement. They don't understand about connection and building relationship, because it lives. Just like you go back to the country now and they remember you coming as little girl to give them something from your grandparents, and they want to do the best for you. And this is the legacy that we owe it to our forefathers to carry on.
Exactly. I totally agree. And I try to instill that in my children, for one, because if we don't teach them, it's not being taught in the schools. We have to be proactive and reactive instead of just depending on them to do it. So I try to share that with my children all the time. It's so important.
We had somebody that we invited over before. I was just trying to get back to, I think it's Dominique. She's a visual brand strategist, and I actually met her at another event. And that's the good thing about when we connect, because somebody through one of my newsletters reached out to me, and what they were looking for, I was able, and when people know, like, and trust you, and that's the thing about networking, it's about operating in integrity. That you can feel comfortable to refer someone, you know, because like I think Robert said it before, your name, you work so hard to build it. And so when you network, that's another thing about how do you, as referrals, do you tell somebody else about someone else's brand or the services that they may offer? So someone can reach out to me and say, listen, I spent 100 G's before to get this done. Not that I'm trying to get it cheaper or anything, but I'm looking for somebody that can give me the look and the feel that will connect with my brand. Do you know somebody? And for someone for that caliber to come to you and say, hey, this is what I need, it says a lot about you. And so what I've noticed at a lot of the seminars and places that I go, it's not so much about the huge numbers of people in the room. It's the quality. It's not so much about the quantity. Right?
That's it.
Had something to add to that?
What did you say, Sharon?
No, if you had something to add to that, I was trying to get back at my screen in the meantime.
I affirm what you say, because a lot of times you meet people and they said, can you give somebody my business card? Can you take extras of my card to give somebody? And I unapologetically say no. And they look stunned at me. I said, no, let us get to know each other first and understand what each other does. It just go back to what I had said at the beginning. There is no reason for me to take your card to give to somebody if I don't believe in what you
do. Okay.
Because when I your card out, I'm endorsing you. So if I don't know who you are and how you present something, Why would I tell you about somebody? That's going to be damaging to my relationship.
Absolutely.
Because to Sharon and she mess it up. You're going to call me on the phone. You're going to chew me out. You send me to that woman. You know she was this. You know she was that. I probably didn't know because I did not take the time to find out about the person. So it goes to your business card. I tell people, don't be offering your business card. Tell people about you. And if they want your business card, they will ask you for it.
Absolutely.
You said a very important thing, relationship. Most people don't take the time to get to know you before they sell to you. And I do it all the time. I mean, don't say, and you know, people, they'll send me something, you know, either via Twitter or something, Facebook, and they'll say, hey, nice to meet you. Here's my link. Go to my page and buy this. And I'm like, really? You know, you haven't even tried to learn who I am and what I like. What are my trigger buttons? I may not like what you have, you know, so first get to know me and to see if I am your type of customer.
I like
and then we go from there.
When it comes
and most
to
people don't do that. They just sell
networking,
automatically.
because I've traveled in circles where that I'd have to sign a non-disclaimer, meaning right? There's certain people that you meet when you start to move at a different level. You're going to find yourself in groups where you're going to sign saying, listen, I'm not posting any pictures. I'm not doing anything to discredit you. And most celebrities or people in a certain level will ask you to do that. And actually, you should be doing that in your business relationships, and even when you working with someone else. And so to me, when it's comfortable enough, then I will do an email introduction. So we're talking about networking. How can you introduce other people? I will do an email introduction, and then they can take it from there. So both people can know, like, listen, you know, copy it and so forth, and then they'll take it from there. So networking, to me, it's really, most places that I've gone, you know, sometimes I'll just go. Even when I go speaking at different places, I may not even bring a book or anything with me. If I feel led to just go and to give and pour in, then I'll do that. And believe you me, it always comes back. So when we're networking, it's like Dr. Daphne said, it's not just about giving the card and everything else. It's about who are you, sometimes even what are the results you get, but sometimes it's just getting to know people.
That's right. That's right. That's right. People need to invest the time. I noticed there are a large number of people who are looking for microwave result. Now, you know, the other pet peeve of mine, I don't know if any of you has encountered this. People on LinkedIn are sending messages asking me to endorse their work. So I'm just very nice. I sent an email back and I said, oh my Lord, I'm probably getting old or something. Would you please remind me when it was again? How long was that I had utilized your services? Because if I'm going to endorse you, I must have used your services.
Right.
They send back and say, oh no, I've been following you since when? Oh, I'm sorry. No, don't take it personally. However, I cannot endorse you for following me because I don't use your service. I would not be doing you value.
Absolutely.
It's right. You know, actually, LinkedIn seems like it's trying to become Facebook right about now. It's becoming Facebook. And it wasn't started that way. It was started for business connection, whereas Facebook was started for college students. I mean, if you go back to why each one was started. And so people are really taking it out of content and utilizing it, which, you know, because sometimes I'll post some things on there, but I try to remember these are business or supposed to be business people on there. And you have to use the tool as it was designed to properly monitored.
You know, because there's a lot of people who are not supposed to be on business site that's on there, you know?
Well, well, there's a whole protocol to, even those, and I'm sure Dominique would agree, even in the media, of how many times before you connect with somebody before you even try to sell to them. And sometimes some people are just selling. You know, what are you giving?
Right.
You know, even for me and what I learned from, you know, coaching and so forth is what do I have to give? And I always give something for free. You know, it's once you're comfortable with whose you are, and knowing that, you know, your source, where it comes from, I never have to worry about it, because if it doesn't come back to me, it could come back to my children. And so when you're in the space of, say, you're going to give something of value. Don't always worry about that you're going to get a check for it, because at the end of the day, if they really like you and what you have to say, and people truly believe that you can help to support them and take them to the next level, they will invest in you. But the first thing is they would have to see the value in it and understanding their value and worth. Because Dr. Daphne, I know, and Michelle, and even those who are listening, people who, like I'm saying, when they're supposed to invest in you, they're thinking about themselves. Somebody said to me, "You charge $500 an hour?" I said, "Uh-huh."
Yeah.
And she was like, "Yeah, well," and then she wanted to know how often she was going to speak to me. And I said, "How often would you like to speak to me?" But my thing was that I know my value and my worth, and I'm a giver. I will give. You have my newsletter, you have my webinars, you have my phone calls. They're there, and I can share information with you. But when I take time, which is the most important thing for me, for my family, right? I can't get that back. And then as a nurse, you know, Dr. Daphne, we talk about that, what I can make in a day.
That's right.
You know? And so what I want people to understand, and when my clients leave, if this is what you invested in me, you need to be brave and bold enough to stand in front of somebody and you ask for that. Because you know what? You can do it because you have done it. So when I go and make an investment and say, this is what I charge, I know I've gone to some of the best of them. And they are asking for 40, right, Dr. Daphne? $50,000 to $100,000 and up. And guess what? All you need is one person to take it, and they're getting it, but you have to know how to deliver. Come on now.
Yeah, you have to believe and be bold in your truth. That's what it's all about, you know. That it is what. So where is Dominique? Where are you located, Sister Dominique? Where are you located? Is she in the tri-state area? You said
she's
says New York.
She's still in the chat room. I know. Yes. I think we met up in another state. We've met a few times.
Answered. She said
if she's in the DMV area. Where are you, Dominique? New York.
Sharon, she said New York.
She said
New York City. Okay.
New York.
So she's like me and Dr. We travel.
I'm in Connecticut. New Jersey.
I'm in New Jersey.
Where are you, Sharon? Okay, I guess I'm the only Midwest soul on here, huh?
And social media is
and Robert,
great,
he's like down in the boot heels down there.
You can use your business. Skype is an amazing platform too to network and to have your clients overseas. So Skype is great also. Yeah. Everybody should be on Skype.
Yeah, I have. But I heard Yvette spoke about another platform called Peach. I'm thinking I don't know about Meavy and Peach. What is that? Anybody know?
Meerkat, I don't. I'm on Snapchat. I do Snapchat.
Please, how to do Snapchat? I think I have an account. This teenager had done it for me, but now I realize the business people are heading on over to Snapchat. So I have to go.
Yeah, and they're using it in such a way, because let me tell you what I've understood from if you're following Gary Vaynerchuk or Gary V, what's really important about these medium is like people don't like you taking their time. Their time is so important to them. That's why Snapchat, which they think is going to be, and we love Blab for all the Blab people are listening and those who created Blab. But it's about time and how you use it. And if it's just a few seconds, I don't think your videos are longer than 10, or there are different ways to use it. Just play around with it until you get to use it. That's how I figured it out. No. But people are really important with their time. And there's some of the biggest names who are on that platform, and they're getting it in. They're getting it in with just a few seconds.
You mean
Are you on Snapchat, Dominique? Let's see.
I'm trying my best to learn this thing. Snapchat is because my kids, they told me, she said she's not on there yet. My kids,
I don't want to follow my nephews and nieces. No,
kids, teenagers.
I follow
not for
business
grown people.
Because let me tell you something. When that teenager from France set it up for me this summer, I had last summer, I had no idea what it was. He said, "You're not on Snapchat. You have everything else." I said, "What Snapchat?" You take something. Oh, let me set it up for you. And he left, and I forget how to do it. Now I was on Robert Stern's show and heard them talking about it, that now business people are going over there.
Yes, they are. The multi-million, they're on it. A lot of real estate people. If you follow, well, I think Grant Cardone, he's on Periscope. So you would get more out of him out of Periscope, but he's on Snapchat. And some people just use it as fun, but they're still getting their message through. Believe it or not, they're getting their message through. So,
right. And I signed up for I actually am on Meerkat. I haven't used that as much that I use Periscope, I guess, because I've grown comfortable with Periscope. And then I signed up for Snapchat because my teenager signed me up. But like I said, they don't want me to be their friends. So I only have one friend. So y'all follow me on Snapchat.
So Nichelle, what is it you want people to gain from this platform, from the Diverse Connect? What is it you'd like for folks to gain?
Well, I actually have a podcast that it was in the works for like 2 years, and I just started in January. I'm not one of those kind of people that set resolutions. I set goals, and I fall short all the time. And so January, my goal was to get my podcast up and running. So a lot of the things that I will be doing on Blab will be for my podcast. And like Dr. Daphne, she will be interviewed tomorrow, and I'm just going to learn about her journey from Jamaica to the United States and how to turn your passion. I think that was the name of the blab that I named it. Turn your passion, or tune into your passion. That's what it is, no matter where you're from. And so I know she's going to do great with that. Again, I met her on Periscope, and I don't know how, actually through our community of the Perry girls. That's how I met her. And I was just so in tune with what she was talking about, because I could relate to what she was saying, because I too am a transition coach, and I help people to and through their journeys in life. And no matter what they're going through, if it's a financial relationship, if it is just dealing with spiritual connections and things of that nature, I try to help them through that, or I do help them through that. And so that's what my blab will be primarily used for, to bring on awesome people like yourself and to share
Dr.
the
Daphne?
message with the whole world and the community.
What's your question?
No, what I said to Nichelle, what were her hopes for using this platform? And you've been on it for a minute, Dr. Daphne. So. Yeah.
Yes, she got friends too, girl.
100 and something days. I don't know how many days. However, I came on wanting to make connections and build relationships that I could transition into my funnel, if you may. So I came on, and I have been serving. I forgot when I came on. I think 100 and something days. And I have been building, and I am hoping that the content I have here, I'll be able to repurpose. However, in a short, maybe less than 3 months, I will be launching a new platform that is going to incorporate all of the media things that I am doing. So that's one way of just answering that in a compact way. So it's always to continue serving others and to help them to evolve, because a lot of people are sitting around in complacency, and they have a lot of things to birth.
Yeah.
And as I was saying this morning, and that community that we launched this morning, I know in Jamaica people love this word. I don't have anybody to hook me up. So
The hookup. They need the hookup.
yeah, you know, my blab and my periscope is the
Yes.
hookup for all those who are looking hookup.
For the hookup.
So, you know, want to hook up so I can help them to give birth. Because some people been pregnant for a long time. Some
Absolutely.
are in labor, oppressing the contractions with procrastination tranquilizer.
Powerful.
So now,
And you know, Dr. Daphne, that reminded me, and I think when we spoke this week, a few years ago, I started out, I pretty much started out in the gospel arena. And later on, only to find some people, like you said, they want the hookup and they wanted everything for free, when in fact it was costing me to produce and do what I did. And so I became very serious about business.
Right.
And they love God and they still made money and they were able to help a lot of people. So out of that, I went on to launch my nonprofit, which is called WAVES, which stood for Women Achieving Victory, Empowerment, and Success. Because I believe that you can still be spiritually based, you can still be a Christian, and you can still do good things and not worry and thinking that money is evil. So for me, and as they say, it's the love of money. So for me, having been able to travel to different parts of the world on medical missions, and people say, is it a religious mission? I said, no, I travel on medical missions. What I learned and really understood, when you want to understand the power of relationships, connection, and money, it's when you have to buy medication to take to those countries. You see how important that is.
right.
Because we had to get medication, and there were some companies that wanted to give us stuff that was already expired.
That's so true.
Yes, that's what they.
And so if you didn't have the money and you didn't have the connections and the relationships to get your medications into the country, you're going to really see how important that it is. So for me, when I start to attach the value to it, and even when we started to do things with the other medical missions, and I tell people who have an issue about, oh, I don't want to make money, I said, okay, let me teach you how to make the money and you can go and give it away. And then that's when they look at me like, I said, yeah, because you have to understand I get back again to the value of it and why do you do what you do? And understanding the value of what it takes for us to buy one medication, I'm telling you, one medication took so much, and even to get it cleared into a country, because there we were being of service. It was a good thing that we were doing, but guess what? Those countries, they wanted to get paid because there were taxes to be paid and so forth. So anytime you're doing something, make sure that you understand the value and, of course, the service that you're given. Coach Tracy's having a hard time hearing us.
But can you refresh? Ask her to refresh. And would someone else who has not yet introduced themselves, someone that has a telephone at their ear next to Sharon's picture, between Robert and Sharon, who is that? Would you like to come on? Ready. Coach Tracy, yeah, Coach refresh. Tracy, would you come on in the seat so we can meet you? I think she's the lady in the black blouse because, oh, she already said she could not come in.
I think this was Dominic.
Coach Tracy, Felicia. Oh.
No, that was Dominique.
Okay. Felicia. How are you, Felicia? Where are you from? This is a networking event. So that's Dominique with the beautiful eyes. Next. She's
yes, I was Tracy,
refreshing.
Oh, that is, she's on here as well.
For the beautiful eyes.
Yeah. Alabama, you want to come on Felicia's and get in the seat here?
Hi, Felicia.
Felicia.
No, she's just listening in.
Yeah, we're just no. You know what? Everybody
Felicia,
said no, because I used
what
to
is
do
it
that too when I would get on
would
Blab. They were like, "You want to come get in
like
the
to
seat?" And
learn
I'm like,
about
no.
networking? Because we see that you're here. How can we support you? Or any information we can share? Because that's the thing. Some people, it took me a while too before I came onto Blab. I'm like, my hair isn't looking right. You know, I'm like, you know.
Here.
Right, you know, and our hair has to be looking
But
right.
sometimes it's just good to just chill on the sofa and lay down and watch.
See, the
And
men
I would
don't
do
care.
that.
Robert wouldn't understand that.
Robert is holding his own for the men. He show up for those men. Thank you, Robert.
So Felicia wants to know how to use lead pages and landing pages.
Yes,
And
kudos
the
to
thing about it, we
Okay.
spoke, you'd have to go back to the replay, but we spoke about connecting with people. And I think you're probably pretty interested in how you can put that into, you know, it's part of your funnel. And believe it or not, all of that is strategic. So there are folks who go on, you know, different websites, or they'll see landing pages, but the step is like a 20-step system, believe it or not. It is strategically done. And so if that's something you want, what is it that you're going to give people? What is it you expect them? What is it you're trying to place on your landing page? And then the other part of it is, how are you going to market that? So it's a great way to get people into your funnel, but what are the other things you're going to do to keep them to interact with these individuals? So that was Felicia's question. And I guess she wants to use landing pages.
Okay. That's not my area of expertise.
Well, Felicia, if you holler at me, I can
Great point.
possibly lead you in the right direction with that. But it's fun to use. Those are fun to use.
What's her area of expertise? What does she do?
Yes, Felicia, tell us a little bit more about what you do.
Would you like to come in the seat so we can get to meet you and connect?
What do you do, Felicia?
Okay.
She says she haven't decided. She's marketing.
Oh yeah, I know.
I have a
So much you can do
transportation
with
business,
that.
and I'm
You
also
just
in a
have to-
financial MLM, multi-level marketing. Mhm. Yeah, I know, because look, I do all that too, the network marketing and all of that. So yes, it's so much. Lead pages is great. However,
Sure, they're free.
that can
They're
be
free
costly.
ones if you
Is
know
there
how to
anything
use them.
cheaper that someone could start
Sometimes
off
all you
with?
need
I
is
know
a
cost
squeeze.
is, you know, when someone just started off. Mhm.
Really, a
Right.
one squeeze page. You throw in a link. Some
Mhm.
people use Bitly to those links, and you can use them. Is another option that you can buy for a one-time option. Yeah, because I think lead pages is every year it's to something, but there are different things you can use to capture people into your funnel. Thrive landing pages. Okay, I'll check them out.
Yeah,
Not
that's
sure
thank
if,
you for sharing that out. That's because people, I mean, I know when you're starting a business, and you know, in each business that I've started has always incurred a cost. And especially if it's a brick and mortar and someone just starting out, like it sounds like Felicia is trying to do, just jumping off with all that cost can be very hard. So that's why I was asking, is there something a little cheaper? Like you mentioned, some free squeeze pages that you can do.
Yeah. And so even, you know, with any business that we're doing, and Nichelle, when in your introduction, you've done a few things there. Even when we're networking, our business plan is so important. I guess that's a whole nother show.
Yeah, we done been on here about 2.5 hours now, y'all. Yeah.
That's a whole nother blab, Sharon.
That's a whole nother blab right there.
Well,
But,
maybe we could do that because, like I said, my ultimate goal is to bring people on to share their expertise with the podcast and grow from there. So this was just an introduction of networking so we can bring people on and introduce ourselves and allow them to do the same, because all of us, even Felicia, with you just starting off, all of us have great talents and gifts that we can share with other people. So that was the purpose of this blab, and it was my first one, and
it's fun.
Right. I screwed up a little bit. You said you're a W-2 earner as well as so business has definitely helped me get more of my tax dollars. I don't mind reinvesting if it works. That is so true. She's a W-2 earner plus a business owner. That's how a majority of people start out. That's how I started out. And that's
Yes.
another stream of income because that's something I'm working on too. People devising multiple streams of income. So you're doing just fine, Felicia. Keep on doing what you're doing and keep
Yeah,
getting
girl.
better.
She's building a legacy.
Exactly. And that's what it takes. That's what it takes. So
Yeah.
I am going to end, ladies, because I have I was supposed to go to a party, but I think I didn't have my party here. Here's the link for more info. She said, who is it? Dominique says there's link for lead pages or Thrive. They have options for $67 and $97. She just put it up there, thrivethemes.com/landing pages.
That's cool.
Well,
Thanks, Dominique.
Pardon?
I said, thanks for including me. What time do they start partying out in St. Louis?
No, actually, I was going to my friend's 50th birthday party. It started at 7 o'clock, but at that time I was like, oh my God, I forgot I got the blab. But then I told her I'd be there around 8. So she'll be okay because I'm just going to send her a text. I was texting her and letting her know that I was running behind. But thank you, Dominique.
You should still go show your face. She's
Look, Miss Daphne,
Yeah, you only
I'm
get 51s.
You're only 51, so I haven't reached that yet. So I'm thanking God. I know I will get there, prayerfully with the Lord's will, get there soon.
Amen. Yeah, but thank you. This was fun, guys. Thank you for the opportunity to be in. Felicia was asking us what we do. Most of us, we're mostly entrepreneurs and coaches and servant leaders.
Amen.
So always giving back. So everybody will speak for themselves what they do. But the nice thing is we can click on to each other.
Sharon, wait a minute. No, Nichelle, now is the time you close out and you tell people again what it is you do.
Oh, okay. Now, thank you, Dr. Daphne. As you all see, Dr. Daphne has been our spearhead person.
That's right.
She has led me through this whole process because, again, this was my first time blabbing. Again, I'm Michelle Womack. I'm your life transition strategist. I help you start, market, and grow the CEO of you. And what is that? In growing the CEO of you, I help you to and through your journey to success. And whatever it is in life, whether it's relationships, spiritual connections, business, I can help you do that. I'm a licensed real estate broker. I've been a licensed real estate broker for 16 years, a licensed insurance broker for health and life. And I'm in the process of getting insured for auto. I should be there by the end of February. And I also have a consulting business, a home healthcare company, and I also do coaching too. And that's that transition strategist part. So that's me in a nutshell. And I love meeting people, awesome people. I love being in the company and the presence of awesome people as well. You can connect with me. And the name of my podcast is the People Connect Podcast. Please download that. It's on iTunes. And you can also connect with me at toexcelwithnichelle.com. Thank you. God bless each and every one of you. Love you.
And I'm Daphne Clark Hudson, a reinvention and transformation coach. When I blab about reinvention, empowerment, and resilience building. For those of you who have not yet connected with me, I would like for you to screenshot this so you can connect with me on Blab, Twitter, and Periscope at Dynamic Daphne. To get the letter, you can sign up at DaphneClarkEmpowers.com. Subscribe for my podcast. You may visit me at Educate, Empower, Inspire on iTunes. And we are having an event on the 23rd of February. Be the Success Creator. And you could get that link at bit.ly/success creator. bit.ly/success creator. And through the end of January, which I think is one day, you can get a complimentary breakthrough session at no investment. After the end of the month, there is going to be a minimal investment for that. So you can send an email at dchtalk Dog Cat Harry, TALK @gmail.com. It was an honor for me to share this platform with my sisters and colleagues, Nichelle Womack and Sharon Addison. Thank you, ladies. And Robert, thank you. It was a wonderful to meet you, and Dominique and all the other amazing people in the chat. Thank you. It was really an honor. I'm going to go back. You guys need to follow me because I won't be able to go click on that because I was not on that platform. So follow me, please, @Dynamic Daphne, and I'll be sure to follow you back.
Yes, she will.
Find me at Addison Media Group or Addison Media and all social platforms. The same for Twitter, Periscope, Instagram, Pinterest, Addison Media Group on Facebook, and of course, definitely on Periscope. I work with those who are willing to trust, embrace the awesome power that's within them. Once you're able to do that, then we can have you move on to monetize what you do by you understanding your value and your worth. So whatever you invest, the investment you say you made, you can go back and do that and then some. And it's really being of service, folks. Just giving to those who may just need what you have to offer.
Amen.
Thank you all. Thank you for the opportunity. Hasta luego.
Oh, no.
What do I do now?
Please pause the recording. Let me tell you the rest. Click on the recording to pause.